This should be shocking. This should strike fear in anyone who is collecting woke welfare from CNN. Jobs are on the line here, or at least they should be. We'll touch on that more here in just a second. When it comes to ratings, most times when records are set, the media will run with the story. We just talked yesterday about Deion Sanders pulling over 9 million viewers on ESPN, record high ratings in the late night time slot. That story was picked up throughout the mainstream media, yet for some reason, when CNN once again sets a record for ratings, it's only being covered by the New York Post. Perhaps they're pretend friends in the mainstream media. Maybe they're trying to cover for CNN. Or maybe it's because CNN has set record low ratings so many times in the past 12 months that people are just no longer surprised when it happens. Earlier this year, Deion Sanders, he takes over as head coach in Colorado. When he did, he was highly criticized by other head coaches and by some in the media for coming into Colorado and completely cleaning house. His first day on the job, he walks into the locker room. He tells every player, every coach in that locker room that this is how it's going to be. This is how I'm going to run my program. If you don't like it, you can get the hell out of here. He completely revamps the coaching staff. If I remember correctly, I believe he cut over 60 players. I can't remember the exact number, but on the current roster, I think there's only 10 players left from last year on the current team. Now, why do you think he did that? Why did Deion Sanders fly into Colorado on his broom and sweep the locker room like he was Mr. Clean? For decades, there has been a losing mentality in Colorado. This program has not been relevant since the 1990s. They went 1-11 last season. 3 winning seasons in the last 20 years. And I'm not counting the COVID season where the Pac-12 was too busy taking the Fauci poke to play football. This losing mentality, it was deeply entrenched in that locker room, and there's only one way to eradicate it. You got to get rid of the people who have that mentality. Next month, Mark Thompson, he's going to take over as the new president of CNN. Now, I'm going to say the same thing about Mark Thompson that I said when Chris Lick took over. CNN is actually in worse shape than Colorado. They've got a dual diagnosis here. Not only does CNN have a mentality of losing, they are also 100% infected with the woke fungus. Once you're infected with the fungus, almost impossible to eradicate it. Prognosis ain't good, but if Mark Thompson is really serious about saving the network, he has got to come in on day one and start cleaning house. CNN needs to be clean from the inside out. This past weekend, CNN posted its lowest ratings in the key 25 to 54 demo in the history of the network. Once again, CNN has set another record low when it comes to ratings. For some reason, CNN continues to call itself the most trusted name in news. That would be like Howard Stern calling himself the king of all media in 2023. CNN can claim to be the most trusted name in news all they want. The problem is, the rest of us don't believe it. Primetime Sunday night, CNN centered their primetime lineup around something called The Whole Story with Andy Cooper. Once again, we have a title that doesn't fit the program. When is the last time Andy Cooper has given us the whole story? If you're relying on Anderson Cooper for news, the only side of the story that you're receiving is the wrong side. They follow up that disaster with Stanley Tucci searching for Italy. I didn't know Italy was lost. Hey, Stan, if you're searching for Italy, I can give you some directions. It's right next to France and just south of Austria. Naturally, both of these shows were huge, embarrassing failures in the ratings. Andy and Stanley, they delivered a cool 43,000 viewers in the key demo. Overall ratings for CNN this past weekend, they weren't much better. Matter of fact, these ratings make Caitlin Collins, Katie Roo! These ratings make Caitlin Collins look like a superstar in primetime cable news. CNN averaged just 345,000 viewers this past weekend. And with CNN, You can't include the entire 345,000 because most of these people, they were walking through airports where CNN just happened to be on the TV. If I had to guess, I would estimate that only 345 people wasted their time watching CNN this past weekend. What kind of quality entertainment were they given? State of the Union with Jake the Bongo Tapper and Dana Bash. Vomit. Fareed Zakaria GPS. Double vomit. And what the hell does that even mean? Fareed Zakaria GPS? We need to link up Fareed with Stanley. Maybe his GPS can help Stan on his quest to find Italy. The New York Post, they spoke with an industry insider about the ongoing rating struggle at CNN. Now, according to this insider, CNN ratings are an embarrassment. No shit? Tell me something I don't know. This insider, he must be a regular viewer of this channel because we nominated CNN for the upcoming Huge Embarrassing Failure Awards months ago. He also claimed that under Mark Thompson, CNN is going to have something that they've been missing for years now. Direction, identity. Over the past 2 or 3 years, the biggest problem at CNN, other than their obvious lack of star power, is the lack of identity at the network. What is CNN? What demographic are they trying to appeal to? Does anyone know? Under the direction of Chris the Bongo Licker, CNN was supposed to be a centrist network. They were supposed to be a network that appealed to normal people. How did the Licker of Bongos move CNN towards the center? He put Don Lemon on morning television. What a fantastic idea. That's exactly what normal people want to wake up to in the morning. A sour lemon fertilizing his seed next to a poppy while sitting next to the most painfully boring woman on television, Katie Rue Collins. You could put Charles Barkley next to Caitlin Collins and he couldn't even make her entertaining. Hell, Charlie would get so bored he would fall asleep during the middle of the broadcast. Hey, Charlie, it's me, Katie Woo! What's it like being named Charles? Katie, you are one boring fuck. For the sake of the normal people working at CNN, if there's any normal people remaining at the network, I hope this industry insider is right. I hope Mark Thompson will come in and give CNN some direction and identity. When you look at the landscape of cable news, we really don't have a network that appeals to normal people. The decision making at Fox News, it's been, I guess, questionable recently. I mean, Fox pissed off a lot of people when they fired Tucker Carlson. Now, obviously, MSNBC is appealing to the lowest common denominator. The target audience at MSNBC watches their network through the windows at Best Buy while laying in their sleeping bag inside their Guardian tent. Mark Thompson has an opportunity here to make CNN more appealing to normal people. But he's got to be like Deion Sanders. He's got to clean the network from the inside out. I'm talking producers, staffers, interns, receptionists. If someone doesn't fit the vision of the network, they gotta go. If I were Mark Thompson, one of the first people I would part ways with would be Andy Cooper. Well, Casey, why? Anderson Cooper is the face of CNN. Yeah, that's the problem. Anderson Cooper is the face of the network, and people don't want to see that face. Back in May, CNN dropped the ball on a golden opportunity to appeal to a different demo. Chris Licht invited Donald Trump to CNN to participate in a town hall. Now, unfortunately for Chris Licht, that was the only right decision he made throughout the process. Whether you love him or hate him, there is no denying the fact that Donald Trump is a ratings draw on television. His supporters will obviously watch him, but people who hate him, they will also tune in. The first mistake Chris Licht made was giving the role of moderator to Caitlin Collins. If this was an event like Spin the Cucumber, Katie Rue would be the perfect moderator. But going one-on-one with the Trumper, Katie Rue just wasn't ready. Now, the second mistake that Chris Licht made was CNN's coverage of this town hall after it aired. At this point, the shit fucks, they were already pissed off. Their feelings were triggered when CNN announced that they were hosting this town hall with Donald Trump. How dare you give this man a platform? CNN is supposed to cater to our feelings. Donald Trump hurts my feelings every time he calls me an unemployed bum. Parishioners at Woke United Methodist, they were already pissed off. You'd already lost them. But over 3 million people tuned in to watch the Trumper on CNN. This was your golden opportunity to appeal to a different demo. This was your opportunity to show those people that you could be unbiased when it comes to the Trumper. How did CNN attempt to appeal to these people? Watch for yourself.
Many of you are upset that someone who attempted to destroy our democracy was invited to sit on a stage in front of a crowd of Republican voters to answer questions and predictably continued to spew lie after lie after lie. And I get it. It was disturbing. It was disturbing to see and hear that person refer to a black law enforcement officer as a thug, an adjective he used many times to describe black men, and call Caitlin Collins, the moderator, nasty, which is what he calls any woman who stands up to him. It was disturbing to hear him speak so highly of QAnon conspirators and insurrectionists who assaulted police officers in our democracy on January 6th. And it was awful to hear him spread ridiculous lies about the election. And it was certainly disturbing to hear that audience, young and old, our fellow citizens, people who love their kids and go to church, laugh and applaud his lies and his continued defamation of a woman who, according to a jury of his peers, he sexually abused and defamed. As good a job as Caitlin Collins did trying to fact-check him, it is impossible to fact-check fully because he lies so shamelessly.
Is it any wonder why normal people are not watching this network? This is one of the many reasons that Chris Licht was fired. You mean to tell me the best person you had to appeal to Trump supporters after this town hall was Andy Cooper? Andy? To be honest with you, I don't understand how Anderson Cooper still has a show in primetime cable news. I mean, this dude hasn't been a draw in years now. Same goes with the Wolf Blitzer. I'm sure the Wolf Blitz is a great call for NFL defenses, but it ain't drawing an audience in cable news. The career of Wolf Blitzer, it's 9.5 toes deep in the woke cemetery. And don't even get me started with Chris Wallace. Who's talking to Chris Wallace? The Undertaker. He's calling from the woke cemetery, telling Wallace Chrissy he's got a nice burial plot for his media career. He's going to lay him right next to the sugary remains of the donut diva Brian Stelter. It is abundantly clear at this point, the current roster of on-air talent at CNN, it's not working. These people are not resonating with viewers. It's going to be interesting to see how Mark Thompson's going to handle this. Will he borrow the approach from Deion Sanders and clean out the trash mentality? Or will he use the same approach as his predecessor, Chris Licht, which was saying all the right things publicly, telling the media that you're going to move CNN towards the center, while behind the scenes, you're not doing a damn thing about it. We'll see what happens, but in the meantime, you give me your thoughts. Another weekend, another record set for CNN with record low ratings. Do you think Mark Thompson can save the network? If you were Mark Thompson, if you were given the task of saving CNN, what would you do? In terms of on-air talent, who would you get rid of? You let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. I appreciate you guys and your continued support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.